So we had the last few weeks many things which came up with were a slight diversion from the actual text. So now we have to get back to the actual text. And the page in front of you, 159, tells us that you see on the top of the page, they're underlined. There are three basic ingredients that you have to have in davening. First one is hachnoah. That means humility. Ki'ilu ho'eino medaber rak hashchina. I want to spend a minute about talking about that. Let's for a minute think about Shmona Esrei. Yeah, correct. But then it says, "Ufi yagid ilasecha." So Hashem is opening the lips, but who's the one who's talking? Pi yagid, my mouth. Oh. First of all, the first thing is hachnoah. Now, if you look around in shul and you observe the way people daven Shmona Esrei, the first thing that's necessary with the davening is hachnoah. Now, this is not thing which is Hasidus. This happens to be in the Baal Shem Tov, which he talks about Hasidus. But if you look in the Shulchan Aruch of how a person is supposed to daven Shmona Esrei, it says that you have to have your feet together, and you have to stand straight, and you have to have your hands, one over the other, in a humble way. Now, if you look around in the shul, I don't know, maybe you'll find one person who stands that way. Maybe. Yeah.
You're holding a sitter. How do you have your hands over one over the other?
Well, I mean, if you have a chair or a table or a desk in front of you, so the sitter's there.
Using that, but if not.
But if you want to go back even further, when they didn't have all the furniture that we have today available, people davened without a sitter. Originally, before Anshe Knesset Gedolah made the Seder of Tefillah, they gave the brachas to us, people davened by themselves. They knew what to say and how to say it. So you just have to, you come in front of the king, and you have something to speak to him about. You stand in front of the king, in front of the king with humility, and that's how you speak as a humble person. You don't make any demands as if something's coming to you. That's not the way you stand and talk to the king of the universe. You have to be very, very happy that you have the ability to come and talk to him. Not everybody has the ability to come and talk. Some people are bedridden. Some people are in, hospitals, whatever. You have to be thankful that you're able to come to shul. And when you walk into shul in the morning, it shouldn't just be walk here. Yeah, I'm here. At the door, this is all brought down in the poskim. This is not Hasidus. This is the way a person's supposed to live. This is simple etiquette of Beis Knesset. You stand at the door and you say, "Vani barov chastecha avov esecha eshtach melachich kol b'yoseh." When you walk into the shul, you have to realize that with God's kindness that He has bestowed upon you, you're able to come to shul. It's a great privilege. It's a great honor to be able to come to shul.
Yeah.
And you're coming to a place where the Shekhinah is in a greater concentration. There's a certain amount of holiness, of Kedusha, in the Beis Knesset that you don't have outside. Now, there are ways that a person can try to take the Kedusha Beis Knesset with him when he goes out. Okay, that's another story. But when you're walking into the shul, you have to realize, Ani barov chastecha, first of all, with your great kindness, avov esecha, I come to your house, and then you walk in, you bow to the Aron Kodesh. That's the way you walk into a shul. And many people just either they don't know it, I don't know what to say, I don't know. There's something wrong. There's something wrong with the chinuch. Something with the chinuch. The world stands on three pillars. Torah, Avodah, Gemilas Chesed. Those are the three main pillars that keep the world maintained as in the world. Torah, Avodah, Gemilas Chesed. Avodah meant in the time of the Beis HaMikdash, Avodah HaKabonos. Today we don't have the Kabbalah, so we have a substitute. We have Tefillah, but they had, even when they had the Kabbalahs, they had Tefillah too. But that's all we have today. So this is one of the pillars which maintains the world. So I don't understand why it's not taken more seriously. I can give reasons. Something you do on a daily basis, it becomes sort of habitual, and it loses its, let's call it, it loses its sharpness. It's what word?
Freshness.
Freshness, yeah. You lose it because something it becomes habitual. But it should become habitual, the recognition of that, and it should be made part of your daily routine. Now, this is very important for you, Chanor, because you open up the shul in the morning. So, you be the first one to do it. So that's all part of Hashemah. And then when it comes to Shmona Esrei itself, you have to realize, what are we doing when we say, in the morning you have the Torahs, the Karbados, Psukkah de Zimra, and Birchas Kriya Shema, and so on. It's all a build-up. It's all a build-up. Every level of the davening is another level in the spiritual world. Another level. You start off in the lowest level. That's where the Karbanos are, and the Torahs is starting. That's the physical part of the davening. Then you go into Baruch Shamar. Then you go in Psukkah de Zimra, where you're praising Hashem. You're saying Tehillim of David HaMelech to praise Hashem. After that's the second level. That's if you want to use the levels of the Olamas, you're starting off in the Olam of Asiyah, from Baruch Shamar up until the Ishtabach, it's Olam of Yitzira, that's the next level. Then from Baruch Hu until Shmona Esrei, that's the Olam of Bria, and then Shmona Esrei, the Olam of Atzilus. Then you come in so high up, and you're standing, so to speak, in front of the heavenly court and the throne of Hashem Yisborach. You're addressing His throne. So there, obviously, you have to stand with great humility. And how do you stand with great humility? This is the way you stand, with your hands one over the other, and the right over the left, not the left over the right, right over the left, and then you begin to speak. And as Rabbi Yaakov Meir said, you have to realize that the sentence that Rabbi Yaakov Meir quoted, which everybody sees in the Siddur, Hashem Svasai Tiftach Ofi Agiti Lasecha. What are you saying that for? You ask Hashem to open up your lips. What kind of a thing is that, open up your lips? I can open up my lips myself. I don't need Hashem to open up my lips. Right? I ask Him to open up my lips. You know what the answer is?
What comes out.
Huh?
It's what comes out.
No. Even before that. I'm talking about you're asking Hashem to open up your lips. Why? I mean, I talk all the time. I don't have anyone help me open up my lips. What's the shot? Why is it there? Why is it there? Do you know why it's there? Because if you took seriously what we just spoke about, that the beginning, when you walk into the shul, you stand at the door before you walk in, you say, Shem, I'm thankful to you, Barov Chasdech, with your great kindness, I'm coming into the shul, I'm able to come in. I am in ecstasy that I have this privilege. Ecstasy to have this privilege. To be able to come to shul, to talk to you, that's such an honor and such a privilege. I'm in ecstasy, as if I've been going to Gan Eden. And then once you come in, now you have to realize you can't just stop talk. You have to build yourself up slowly. And if you look at the words and understand the davening, and you say at the end, Baruch Atah Hashem Goal Yisrael, then all of a sudden you come to a point where I don't have the koyach. I don't have, how can I ask Hashem for anything? I've been working on myself throughout the entire davening, building myself up higher and higher, and finally I come to Mamash, I'm standing in front of the throne. You're standing in front of the throne, and you walk in, you can't speak. the kedusha, the experience of standing in front of the throne of Hashem, and he's standing and looking at you. I can't open my mouth. I don't know, who am I to speak to Hashem? So you're asking for Hashem. Hashem, help me. Adonai, so if I say, you open up my lips for me, because I can't do it on my own. That's the way you should supposed to feel when you daven properly. When you understand what you're doing on a daily basis. Each time, Shacharis, Mincha, and Ma'ariv. If you realize you're standing in front of the creator of the entire universe, has the power of life and death, there's nothing there. It's nothing. People die and are born all the time. He's doing it all. Hashem is doing it all. Who am I? I'm a speck of dust. I'm going to speak to Hashem. I'm going to say what I want to say. Who am I? You can't speak. I'm here. I have to be here. You told me to come to show you coming, so I'm here. But when it comes to actual Lemaisa, to execute it, I can't. Can't bring myself to open my mouth. I need you, Hashem, to help me. Give me the start. Start me off. Hashem, you open up my lips for me. And then I can talk to you. But you've got to help me start. I can't do it myself. This is what the Amshei Knesset Gedolah, our great rabbis, between the first and second base of Midrash, who formulated the tefillah for us, they understood very, very well this, and therefore they put it in for us so we should know how to go about it. And if we look at the words that they wrote for us and see what was in their mind when they wrote those words, then we can understand exactly what we're doing, what we're supposed to be doing. Yeah.
The National Protective Tag reminds me that this is a characteristic of human beings. Koach HaMemaleh.
Koach?
HaMemaleh.
What do you mean to say? The koach to speak? What do you mean?
Yes. I think Oculus says that
Ruach Mamaleh.
Ruach Mamaleh.
Ruach Mamaleh.
That's our characteristic. That's why our characteristic is to speak.
Yes, good, fine. That's when you're not in front of Hashem. Stop. But here you have a place where you have to understand this. You have to understand this. It's very, very deep, very complicated. It's very complicated, very deep, but it's so true. If you get a good grasp of the situation, you understand it well. You have people in the world, all over the world, everyone talks. Everyone talks, the screaming, the yelling, everyone talks. Speech doesn't mean a thing. When you want to say something, you say it. It's very cheap. Speech is very cheap. Fine, good. Remember one thing. We quoted this many, many times. The Zohar says, where is a person? Where is a person? So you say, where is a person? I'm sitting right here. Here I am. I'm here. You're sitting there. So you're there. But Yaakov Meir makes like this. What he's saying, what the Zohar says, I think he means the same thing. The Zohar, Rabbi Shimon Yochai, he also knew that a person is sitting, so he's sitting. He's walking, he's walking. He knew that too. He says, that's not the real person. That's not the essence of a person. A person is where his mind is. That's where you really are. Where your mind is. You have to remember that. It's your soul. It's a fundamental point that you have to have all the time.
What's the source of this? Who said that?
Zohar.
Oh, Zohar.
The Zohar. Where is a person? And the Baal Shem Tov quotes it a number of times. In our learning, it's in the Svarim. He quotes it a number of times. Where is a person? A person is where his mind is. So, if I'm running around the streets and I'm there, so that's where I am. That's because that's where my mind is. It's not any place. But if I want to talk to God, if I want to speak to Hashem, so my mind has to be in that, I would say, position. My mind has to be there. If I'm talking to Hashem, then I am there. That's where I am. And that's where I am. If I realize that and feel that, I can't open my mouth. Who am I to talk to Hashem? Who am I to talk to Hashem? That's what the first thing the Baal Shem Tov says. The first thing you need in tefillah is achna'ah. The first thing you need is an awareness of who you are, what you are. You have to have humility. And you have to show it in the way you stand when you're davening Shemona Esrei. And you should stand as a humble person, not with your hand behind your back, and you're doing God a favor. You know, I'm here, and I'm going to say what I say. Oh, I've done my share today. That's it. I can sit down. What is that worth? I don't know what it's worth. Maybe it's worth something. It's got to be. Maybe it's worth something. You came to shul. You stand in front of God. Stand as a humble person, with your hands coupled one on top of the other, this way. And now, even with this, you have to ask Hashem to help you to begin. Hashem, Sefosai, to open up my lips. If you open up my lips, it was you, because my lips are closed. I don't feel that I'm worthy to talk to you. To ask for something, vaday not, but even to praise you. I'm not worthy. Who am I? I'm a speck of dust. That's all I am. That's all I am. Look at me in lieu of the entire universe. What there is in the entire universe, trillions and trillions of stars. What am I? The globe of Earth, you can't even find it on a universal map. The whole globe. You can't even find the globe. And who am I on the globe? I'm one nothing of a percent. I'm the talk to God. That's the first thing. No, you have to have that humility. You have to have that awareness. You're speaking to the creator of the entire universe. Melech Malchei HaMelech. That's the first thing. Okay.
Now is hey, nun,
Ayin, hey, chaf.
hey,
Hey, chaf, nun, ayin, hey.
chaf, nun,
Ayin,
in,
hey. Tachna'ah.
no.
That's the first thing.
Dollar.
Havdalah is next. Havdalah.
Of the
Now that's the next thing. Number two, Havdalah, Hafrida Klipot. You want to separate the good from the bad. You want to separate we're coming in this world to make tikkun olam. That's what we're here for. Now what does that mean, the following? It means the following. Let's say we'll use the simple, let's call it, arrangement that we all are aware of, as it's written in the Torah. Hashem created Adam and Chava, and He put them into Gan Eden, and there was a Nachash, who was a symbol of evil, and then there was the Eitz Hadas, and everything else was permissible. So Hashem said you can have anything you want to eat, just in the Eitz Hadas, don't eat. That's all. One tree, don't eat. Everything else, you can have, it's free for all. So comes along the Nachash, the symbol of evil, and he convinces Adam and Chava to eat from the Eitz Hadas. Don't think that they said, okay, we're going to just do it and we don't care what Hashem says. That wouldn't work. He had to convince them that what they're doing is the right thing. They had to be convinced. The Adam and Chava, you're just created by Hashem, and they're, you can't just say, okay, I'm going to rebel. I don't care what Hashem says. I want to eat. What did He tell me not to eat from the tree? I want to eat from the tree. I have free will. To say to Adam and Chava and have such a mindset. The brilliance of the Nachash was to convince them that they're doing the right thing. But nevertheless, it was a mistake. And before that mistake, there was good and there was evil in the world. Two separate entities. Two totally separate entities. The Eitz Hadas represented for person evil. It's something which is forbidden. It's forbidden. It's chazak. It's treif. This you cannot eat. What happened when Adam and Chava ate from the Eitz Hadas? They changed Hashem's plan. original plan was that good and evil should always be separate. Always be separate. And Adam and Chava, by their mistake, they changed Hashem's plan. They took the evil and incorporated it into the good. They took the treif, the chazer, and internalized it and ate from it. And from that point on, the entire world, until today, has good and evil mixed with each other.
What was the necessity of evil before the Chabad?
What was the necessity?
Of evil, of Ra, before Chet?
What was it there in the world? What do we need it? What do we need it for?
Yes.
Maybe just to give Adam Nisayon. He should always have some kind of a yetzer that he has to. Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's a good question. I'm just giving you off the top of my head. Adam should always have some kind of a milchama. Should be such easy life all the time. You have to do some avoda. There should be something there that is attractive to you and you want it, but because Hashem says no, so you have to control yourself. Hashem wanted to see that obedience. That even though you think it's good, but listen to me, I say it's not good, leave it, don't eat it. Control yourself. Maybe.
I read yesterday about Bulafia saying that Shivrat HaKelim was before creation of man.
Correct. I didn't
Man
right.
was created with earth.
With?
Earth.
Yeah.
So the Shivrat HaKelim is consistent in man itself.
That's correct. That's correct.
So there is some kind of evil.
Of course. We're born with the Yetzer Hara. We're already born with the Yetzer Hara. From that time, I mean, Rabbi Yaakov Meir just brought up a point in the Kabbalistic Svarim, in the Chassidish Svarim. It wasn't that Adam Arishon made the first step of internalizing evil with good. There was already problems before the physical world came into existence. Now, what do you mean problems? Hashem created it all. So why did he make it problems beforehand? Why? Right? The answer is we don't know. That we don't know. But Hashem created a system, and to explain what Rabbi Yaakov Meir says, I just give you very, very big kitzur. There were spiritual creations, and they had various levels. Now, these spiritual creations are all spiritual powers. Some of them are just energies, and some of these powers, these energies, are turned into what we call kalim. They are a lower form. They contain the higher powers. So the lower powers become what we call a kli, a vessel, which the higher powers are internalized into. So you have a kli which holds the higher powers. So what happens if the higher powers are too powerful? The kli is not strong enough. What happens? That kli is also a creation of Hashem, so the kli bursts. This is what is referred to as shviras hakelim. When the lower powers, which are supposed to contain the higher powers, weren't strong enough to contain those powers, so they burst, and all the energy that was inside them fell down into the lower worlds, and there's a whole mixture, a big mixture of all of these powers being absorbed into all kinds of places. And what was the world created for? The world was created for to correct all that. Tikkun ha'olam is to correct this whole thing of Shvira. Now something is so far beyond us. We have no concept of, to what degree it was. What are the numbers? How many canes were broke? And how much of a Shvira? This is very, very difficult. Very, very high, but so far away from us. That's why I didn't bring it up. I started with Adam Arishon. That's something which we can identify with more. We have evil on the outside. This is a tree which is considered treif. And I'm telling you, don't eat it. Once you take the evil, and Adam is created totally good. He's a malach. Like what Chava, no Yetzer Hara inside, only Tov. So Hashem says, keep the Ra away from you. And Yaakov asked the question, what was the purpose of evil in the world? Before Adam, The answer is the purpose of evil in the world was so that we'd have this constant milchama. So we would have some kind of victory over our natural intentions because we want to come close. That was, and understand, that treif, that chazer, was called Eitz Hadas. Now that is very, very tempting. Because Adam Arishon and Chava, they had tremendous minds, and they wanted to come closer to Hashem. And there, inside there, it's called Eitz Hadas. They were understood. If they eat that, they will get clarity about areas which are forbidden to them until then. Imagine that.
That's what the snake,
Huh?
that's what the snake,
That's right. So it's convincing them. It's
so the good purpose they wanted.
Yeah, their intentions were good. They didn't have any evil intentions. They didn't have any evil intentions. Of course not. So that would be the purpose of evil, to have that constant temptation to take part of something which is forbidden to you, and you would have to go against your own mind. Your mind says, I want to have more knowledge of Hashem, I want to go closer to Him, but the boss told me not to do it. So what am I going to listen to? My inclinations to come closer to Him, or listen to His laws, His commands? He says not to eat. My job is to listen to Him. And if I follow my own, then I messed it all up. So what happens? He followed his own, or the temptation of the Nachash, and in the entire world now, there is this mixture of good and evil, and it's our job to be masak in that. This is what he's talking about, Havdalah. Lahafrid haklipos. Havdalah, we have to do our best to separate good from bad all the time. Yeah.
So you said that when Adam and Eve, by eating from the forbidden fruit, they mixed good and evil together. Is that correct?
That's correct. The tree was evil to them, and they were good. So they internalized the evil into the good.
They internalized the evil into the good.
The tree was evil for them. It was forbidden.
What the tree produced. And you see evil that they brought into themselves.
Evil into the good. So they mixed up good and evil.
That's right. Or evil. Okay.
It's meant to be separate. Supposedly. Symbolic, right?
I don't think that only the Jewish people have this, I would say, goal. This is for mankind. Mankind. Before we have the first Jew, before Avram Avinu started off, what was Noah? What was his job in the world? He didn't have a job to do? Of course he had a job to do. Same thing. He was called a tzaddik. Even before Avram Avinu. Noah, he's tzaddik. Actually, he's the only person in the entire Torah. You look through the entire Torah, you will never find anybody called a tzaddik. Only Noah. He's the only one. And he wasn't even Jewish. He's the only one called tzaddik. Noah, he's tzaddik.
And he wasn't a perfect son.
He also made mistakes, of course. But his job also, like anybody else, all the people who lived before Avram Avinu, was to make tikkun olam. And you think they didn't know that? Of course they knew it. They knew that. And we people today, we have to know it also, but most people don't know that. That our job here is to make tikkun olam. That's what we're here for. That's the general purpose of human beings on the earth, to make tikkun olam. That's our job.
Did Adam and Eve?
Of course they knew that.
So then why did
They were convinced by the Nachash.
The Nachash convinced them this is...
No, if you'll do that, you'll make a better tikkun.
Right. So this is like Tikkun Olam, right?
That's what they convinced them. That correct. They're doing right.
Right. All the communists,
Well,
right? They think
yeah.
they're cleaning up the world. Like
Well,
they're
that's right.
bringing the secular Messiah. Yeah.
Now, I want to tell you something very important. This is what it's what you mentioned before, Rabbi Yaakov Meir. It's very important to know this. This is the terminology of the Ramchal.
That's the, I'm just thinking, this is the reform, this is all the reform movement, right? Reform movement, right? They're always Tikkun Olam, homosexual rights, abortion rights.
Yeah, but okay.
That's they
All right.
Tikkun Olam.
Yes, of course,
That's the word they use.
people have to have some kind of justification for what they're doing.
Yeah, right.
To give themselves the confidence
Right.
to go on.
Right.
So they,
The rights of the murderers, the rights of the terrorists.
that's the word.
The Supreme Court here.
Now listen to this. You have to hear this. It's very important. This is so fundamental, so basic. It really answers so many things, so many things. It's very important to know it. The Ramchal, it's the Ramchal, yeah, it's the Ramchal. Yeah, it's the Ramchal. The Ramchal said the following. When Hashem created the world, it was perfect. It was a perfect world. Except it didn't expand, it didn't develop. It was there more or less in potential form. But it was a world of, it was already something of perfection. From that point on until the final tikkun, that's after Mashiach comes, whatever you want to call it, whatever that point is, it's going to have, again, a return to the perfection. And it'll be much, much greater. It'll be much more exposed. And everybody will realize it, everybody will know it. So we have the beginning and we have the end. Perfection at the beginning is more condensed, more contained. It's more like it's in its potential state, but it's pure and it's clean, it's perfect. And the world is going through a process. We're going to finally come after, 6,000 years, before 6,000 years, whatever it is, we're going to reach this point again where we're going to be turned to perfection again. And then the perfection is going to be begilui, not going to be, condensed or contained. Now, what's happening in between? What's happening in between? So there is Tov in the beginning. The Tov is going to be again at the end. It's going to be very, very good then. What's going on in between? What are we living through? What is the entire world going through, this process that's going on? How would you define it? Tov or not Tov?
Evolution. Good.
Well, that you're just evolution. Yeah, but we have Tov in the beginning. We have that same Tov developed and more colossal at the end. What's the in-between stage characterized as? What word would you use?
Confusion.
So listen to what the Ramchal says.
Better.
Huh?
Better.
Well, along those lines, the Ramchal says there's Tov and there's the Kinui.
Kinui?
Kinui is a nickname. Since we're going from one level of Tov to the maximum level of Tov, so it's all a process of developing that potential Tov, which is going to become a colossal Tov at the end. What's going on in between? So he says what's going on between is also Tov, like Rabbi Yaakov Meir once says, but it's not called Tov. It is a kinui. There is a nickname given to that. And what's the nickname? The nickname is all the tsaros, all the ra that's going on in the world. That is the nickname for what's really going on in between, underneath. What's really going on underneath is all, again, a continuation of that Tov in the very beginning, which is processing and going on this way and that way. It's going to finally become the colossal Tov at the end, but in between it's also good. But you don't see it. It's termed something else. It's termed balagan, as you say, confusion, ra. But the truth of the matter is, in the essence, it's really tough. That's the difficulty. That's a difficulty. So people go through their lives with all kinds of trials and tribulations and ups and downs and suffering and all kinds, and you had the Shoah and the Inquisition and the Mabul. The whole world was destroyed, the whole Mabul, come on. The Mabul of Noach, everything. That's all Tov. Says the Ramchal, yes. But it doesn't have that name of Tov. It has a kinui. It has another name. Confusion, Ra, whatever you want to call it. But the truth of the matter is, it's Tov. And when you realize that, the world changes. The world changes.
How do you spell kinui?
Kaf, Nun, Vav, Yud. It's a nickname.
Kaf, Yud, Nun,
Kaf, Nun, Vav, Yud.
Kaf, Nun,
Vav, Yud.
Vav, Yud,
Kinui, correct.
Kinui.
Yes, nickname in English.
What, how they translate it? Nickname?
Nickname in English is nickname.
That's the word translation.
It's a very difficult, but if you understand it, you know, I saw in the writings of Baal Shem Tov a very beautiful mashal. You have a father and you have a son, and the son is misbehaving. So the father wants to put some fright into the son, so he dresses himself up into some kind of a costume to scare the son. He wants to scare his son.
Yeah.
And the son is smart enough, though, he realizes that his father is behind the costume. So he calls out Abba. He says, I know it's you, Abba, I know it's you. Once the father sees that, he knows it's me, he takes off the costume and reveals himself.
He takes the costume and what?
And reveals
So
himself.
reveals him.
The true father to the son.
Yeah, yeah.
That's exactly what we just said right now. Everything that's going on right now is all a costume. It's all to, put some kind of fear in. But you realize that everything that's happening, it's really Hashem. It's really Hashem. And there's no difference. It's all good. It's all good. It changes everything in your life. You become a completely different person. You have no complaints. You have no worries. Hashem is there in everything that you're doing. There's no such thing that he doesn't know. He knows everything. He's with you. Everything. If you take a look at the page 159, look at the page 159, the Kuf Yud Aleph there. You see Alufeinu B'Subalin? Look at the first line. Kuf Yud Aleph Alufeinu B'Subalin. That means our generals are suffering. So he says the Baal Shem Tov, Kishiyoteya ha'adam sha'al lufo shel olam, the general of the world, the master of the world, who b'kol t'nua sheba'olam. Hashem is involved in every action, every movement of the world. Nothing happens without Hashem. Ya'az yachol lisbol hakol. That a person can take anything. V'oz ein peretz v'ein yotzes. You hear that? If a person realizes that everything, look at further. V'chein shamati achakach. Mimoru.
What does peretz mean?
No, there's no break. There's no, everything's smooth. Ein peretz v'ein yotzes. V'chein shamati achakach mimori. Ki b'yedias adam. She'Hashem yizbarach malei kol ha'aretz kvodo. V'chol tenua u'machshava. Ha'kol mimenu yizbarach. Hear that?
Yes, so translate for us.
Everything that goes on in the world, the slightest movement. If you have an ant picks up his leg, that's Hashem also. An ant picks up his leg to move. You have a spider that moves. You have a fly that's flying around. That's Hashem. Everything, nothing happens in the world without Hashem. It's all with Hashem. Everything going on.
Wow.
Malay kol haaretz kvodo v'chol tnua machshava hakol mimenu yizbarach. Af im yaleh hepech b'kamed dvarim. Even though it seems just the opposite, how can Hashem be there in such evil? How can He be there? Yaleh hepech b'kamed dvarim b'mashmos ha'perish shel tefillah. In Davening, it may come out. It doesn't look that way. Mikol makom b'yedi azu yispardu kol alei aved. All activators of evil in the world will just disappear. They just separate. Okay. Now you have to understand, why is that so? Again, where is a person's mind? Where is a person? Where his mind is. Right? Remember the Zohar? Where is a person? Where his mind is. If your mind is there, realizing that all the difficulties that you are going through, that I'm going through, that everybody else is going through in their life, it's all Tov. Hashem is integrally, that's the word, integrally involved.
Integrated?
Not integrated.
Integrally.
Integrally involved in everything that goes on. It's all a kinui. It looks like it's bad. It looks like it's suffering. That's the way it looks on the outside. Look what the show us 1/3 of the Jewish people were executed, killed ruthlessly, cruelly. The show us 6 million Jews. We're talking about October 7th, 1,200. What's 1,200 compared to 6 million? What is it? Nothing. Nothing. Who would ever? this is the greatest example of a massacre since the Shoah. 1,200 people died in a short amount of time. What is it compared to 6 million people? Garnish. It's garnished. What is it? And you say the Shoah was all good. It's all good. It's a kinui, it's a rap, but it's all good. It's all part of the process. All part of the process. Yeah.
I told about what happened on October 7th. I was reading between 1920, after World War I, 1921 and 1819 and 1921, over 100,000 Jews in Ukraine were murdered. You know, with the Goyim there, just stunned. No one talks about these things.
And under the Romans, millions were killed
but
when there were less Jews. Probably
never any war too. They were murdering Jews there all the time. Over 100,000 just in a couple of years in Ukraine. It was not during World War I or World War II. It's like nuts. It's like one big slaughterhouse.
And you wonder about it. Yeah, they show the pictures of the Chayalim. The ones one was just nifted, just announced.
Yeah.
You look at they show you his picture. Not Tzaddik, Tamin. There's so many of it in the past, and a few hundred. We had about 600 or 700 soldiers already who died already, and some of them, are real tamimim. You look at the faces; it's such a sweet face.
Right.
And they go in and they must nefesh v'amisur, and they have to die for these rishoyim. They have to die for these rishoyim. Why does it let that happen? You have to. It's very difficult. Very, very difficult.
the biggest question.
Very, very difficult. But you have to realize what the Ramchal said. Remember, it is all a kinui of tov. It's all good. Now I'm mispelled. I'm mispelled every day. There should be Tchias HaMesim. We say Davening every day. B'chaim Mesim, right? We're asking for Tchias HaMesim. I want these people to come back to life. These tzaddikim, these these soldiers who gave their life, they died in the early 20s. Some of them are fathers already. It's terrible, terrible. What kind of kid? You might not imagine the Kiddush Hashem if these people would come out of their grave and be walking around. Imagine the Kiddush Hashem all over the world. The whole world would just come and kiss our feet, and we they all want to become Jews. Such a thing can happen. A person would come out of the grave and he was pronounced dead and he's buried. He comes out of the grave. Tchias HaMesim, you know what that means? Tchias HaMesim, it's something that nobody would be able to understand. And they would say, this is it. We're all wrong. The Jews are right. This is we have to go to the Jewish people. They're the chosen people, God's people. And you see what he does, all the miracles that he does for them. I'm a scholar for it. Hashem can do anything. Hashem can do anything. Whether it's going to happen or not, I don't know, but I'm a scholar it should happen. We're asking Hashem every single day in the second bracha. Right? We're asking Hashem. So why? I want it to happen now. I want it to happen now. This is what I'm responsible for. If he answers me, doesn't answer me, I don't know. I'm doing my share. I want to bring these people back to life. I want to be a kiddush Hashem all over the entire world. Everyone should talk about Am Yisrael and the nisim Hashem does for us. Everyone should do tshuva, and that's it. That's that. And we'll have the ultimate perfection of the good that Rabbi was talking about. Not only the potential good, but the colossal good. It should already be there already. Why not? Well, it could be. Everything will be. But you have to understand, again, it's very difficult, but it helps you if you understand it and really internalize it. Everything that happens is with Hashem's 100% aspar. He's behind every single thing. And it's all good. But it has a kinui. It looks like it's not good. It looks like it's bad. It looks like it's vicious. But the truth of the matter is, deep down underneath, Hakol Tov. It's very difficult to say that to a person who's suffering.
Yeah.
Very difficult. There are many people who are suffering in the world. And I know them, and you know them, and you all know them. Everyone's suffering. Tell the person that Hashem is in it with you. Hashem is with you in the suffering. And if Hashem is making it happen, just like Hashem is good, then the suffering is also good. If you internalize that, then it makes it much, much easier. Then you're supposed to call Pali of it. All of the negativity, all of the complaints, all of the tsar, it all fades away. All fades away.
No,
Yeah.
easy to say.
I'm just echoing the words of the Baal Shem Tov, that's all. Believe me, I have things that I'm going through in my life also. Everyone has. Everybody has things in their life. Everyone. But this is the formula. This is the way to go through it. This is the way to go through it. This is what the Baal Shem Tov is trying to teach us. If you have this, then you spark the kol oven, then everything just fades away. You can take it all. It's easy. You can take it that way. Because Hashem is with you. Hashem, you are suffering, Hashem is also suffering, in a sense. Because Hashem is behind everything.
Can I say a paradox?
Yeah, sure.
So why Tikkun Olam?
Look, because we don't want to have the kinui. We want it to be galui. Now it's all the kinui. It's all disguised. It looks like it's bad, but we want the good to be open.
I understand that. Why Tikkun Olam?
Because
it's good, if in itself.
It's good because it's leading towards to the eventual. It's all leading towards that. That's why we have to separate the klippas from the good. You have to separate it. That's the shmir of the keva. It's all happening. It's all a process. Now, we're getting into an area which is very, very difficult. Why is Hashem doing this thing? We're going into Hashem's mind. What's behind Hashem? That's really beyond us. Why did Hashem create the world to begin with? What did He need it for? Hashem is the ultimate perfection. What does He need a world for? What does He need this kind of a world for? What does He need? What is it? What is it to Hashem? He needs half the world here. These are questions which we can't answer. Very difficult to answer these questions. What is making Hashem tick? What's going Hashem's mind? We have a trouble understanding our own minds. We're trying to understand Hashem's mind. What Hashem wants to do. This is really Ratzon Hashem. That's beyond us. That's beyond us. That's where you have to have a emunah for that. That's what you need. Okay, all right. And the third thing is hamtakas lavosan hamtikan b'shosha. The third thing that we have to do in our tefillah is sweeten the din. Sweeten the din. Whereas there is this kinui of Ra in the world, and we have the ability to soften it. Maybe make it disappear altogether, but certainly to sweeten it so that it's not so difficult. You have that difficult. One of the reasons why do we blow shofar in Rosh Hashanah? What is this thing to blow shofar? What is it? That's the way you start off the year. What is this? Any never have the blowing shofar? What's it all for? Hashem needs to take trumpets and blow trumpets. What even blow a shofar? What's going on here? What's going on? The answer is that blowing shofar, as strange as it might be, that accomplishes hamtakas hadin. Now I'll explain to you what that means. How does that happen? Think about the kolos. You have tchiyah, shvarim, trua, and tchiyah. Now, music is something which is very, very high. It's very, very high. It's something which is not... Me'al teva? Okay. Well, it's part of the teva.
Teva is 7. And music is 8.
Octave 8. Very good. Very good. But it's something which is high. It's beyond words. Words are on a lower madrega. Music is without words. It's just sound. It's kolot. It's beyond words. Beyond words. And Rabbi Yaakov Meir made a good point. There's number 7 always indicates the way the world works. There's 7 days of the week. You have 7 years of Shemitah. Number 7 is the way the world is built. And in the Sfiros also, in the other Mishalyon, in the Sfiros, we have 7 Sfiros which are making the world go around. Chesed, Gvur, Tiferes, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, and Malchus. 7. That's why we have 7 days of the week. Shabbos is the last day. And so 7. What is number 8? But there are 10 Sfiros. Not only 7 Sfiros, there are 10. So when you go above the 7, you're going L'mayla min HaTeva, going to the spiritual world. And that spiritual world, that's where you have music. You have kolot. So when involved in music, you're involved in something which is l'mayla min hateva, in the highest olamos. The highest. So in that level, the highest olamos, we want to make a tikkun, hamtakas hadin, in the highest levels. And if we make it in the highest levels, it trickles down to the lower levels too. How do you make hamtakas hadin? So in the music of the shofar, the sounds of the shofar, you have a few kinds of sounds. You have a tkiya, which is a long, simple blast. Tkiya. Then you have broken blasts, shvarim and trua. Trua are short ones, and shvarim is a little bit longer. Shvarim, trua. So
Tiki is a long blast.
a long, simple blast.
Okay.
And the shvarim and the trua are broken blasts.
Shivarim and Teruah.
The word shvarim itself means broken.
Broken, yeah.
Right. And trua means like, I don't know how you say the word, how to translate it to English, trua. I don't know. Toots. I don't know. How the word was trua. I don't know.
Toots.
I don't know how you, what did you say there?
What's the difference between Shivarim and Teruah then?
The difference is in the way it sounds. Shvarim are three broken blasts,
Three.
and trua is supposed to be 9.
9 broken blasts?
A minimum of 9.
9 toots.
Teruah.
Okay. Yep, all right. 9 toots.
So,
How do you spell it in Hebrew?
huh?
How do you spell it in Hebrew?
Taf, Resh,
Resh,
Vav,
Vav,
Ayin, Hey.
Ayin, Hey. Cheer.
Sure. Ah.
Sometimes Google is a little off on the translation.
All right, anyway, so we have the shvarim is the and trua is ta 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 ta. We all know that, right? So if I asked you now a question,
Yom Teruah.
you all have blessed, the blessed, the trua, meaning blessed, blessed of the horn. I translated things, I don't know. But we all know that the trua, excuse me. No.
They said cheer, which is difficult to understand.
Yeah.
I remember my Rav, used to say the Yom Kippur you must be happy.
Okay. It's the day of Kapara. You'll be happy.
Yeah.
Right?
So there might be a meaning with cheer.
All right. Could be. Anyway. So now let me ask you a question. If you had to choose and give a category of these different colors, how would you categorize the shvarim and the trua and the tekiah? Which would you say is more indicative of din, and which would be more indicative of chesed?
Tekiah is chesed.
Chesed. Okay, obviously, because it's simple, it's not broken. A simple call, ooh, that's chesed.
Sure.
But with shvarim, but the word itself, shvarim, means broken. So something which is broken, that's the midah of din. And if it's just trua, it's even more broken. The other one is 3. 3 broken colors. But here you have 9 minimum. So you have a tkiya at the beginning. At the chesed or rachamim, you could say it. You have a tkiya at the beginning and a tkiya at the end. And in between, you have the shvarim and the trua. So the 2 tekiyas on either side, the chasadim, the simple tekiya, the rachamim, the chasadim, sandwiches in the shvarim and the trua and sweetens it.
What does Teruah stand for? Like you said, Tekiah, Chesed, Shivarim.
Shvarim and trua stand for the midah of din. Shvarim and trua are din.
Oh, that's din also.
Yes, they're din because they're broken. They're not smooth. What's smooth is the tekiya. That is chesed. That's rachamim. But the shvarim and the trua are din. So what are we doing on Rosh Hashanah? We want to start off the year with being mabdik the din. Yom Rosh Hashanah is Yom Hadin. It's the day of judgment. And we want the judgment to be sweetened. We want the Hashem not to be so strict. So one of the ways that we do that is by blowing shofar in that particular way. The tkiya at the beginning and the tchiyah at the end, sandwiches in the din and sweetens it.
So Rabbi Rachamim is not chesed.
No, but
It's Gevora.
okay, but it's it's softer, it's kinder than din.
Okay.
Yeah, well, you
But we say Yom Teruah. Which did.
What can I tell you? I don't know. You have to see in the Torah why it's called Yom Teruah. I don't know. Why, let's call it Yom Tkiya. I don't know. I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer. Why it's called Yom.
Rosh Hashanah is Yom Adin.
No, so
Yom Kippur is not Yom Adin.
it's called Yom Teruah. Yom Kippur is called Yom Teruah.
Yom Teruah.
But you only blow off.
No, Yom
No,
Teruah.
no, no, it's not. Yom Teruah. We don't blow off on Yom Kippur. This is Yom Kippur. All right, so we did these three things now. We did the Hachna, humility. We did the Havdalah, separating the good from the evil. And we did the Hamtakas Adin. All right, next week, we'll go further into the Hamtakas Adin and see the Mefarshim of the Baal Shem Tov. All right, that's it for today, Rabbi Simon.
Wow.